Welcome to Some Good Tea, where we drink some tea and share some tea. I'm your host, Katie, and this week I'm being joined by Erin, and we will be discussing scrapes and bumps and bruises and injuries of all sorts. It's kind of a fun and interesting and goofy topic. As usual, we keep things light-hearted and family-friendly on this podcast. Just some quick announcements before we jump in. As you know, those of you who have been listening before, I will be dropping a website at the end of this month where you'll be able to connect with some of my guests who are artists and authors and content creators. On there, you'll also be able to learn a little bit more about the different teas that we drink, how to brew them, where to find them. So I'm very excited to finally be able to present that to you guys. And just a reminder about our schedule. We drop an episode every 2 weeks on Sundays at 8 p.m. The only time that I'll really breach that schedule is during special times like spoopy season at Halloween and other times like that, and I'll usually try to give you guys a heads up. That's all for the announcements. Let's jump into the episode. And Erin is finally back.
I'm back.
We've had some adventures while you were gone.
Yes.
And you had some adventures while you were gone.
I very much did have some grand old adventures.
Yeah, and that's what we're here to talk about today.
Yep, the whole inspiration for this entire episode was based on me.
Yes. I was gonna kind of save this topic for Jess.
but recently I think things have changed.
You got an honorary promotion. Our topic today is our group. Our listeners will be able to figure it out, I think, fairly quickly. And as per usual, we're going to be rolling a 20-sided dice and asking each other questions. And we're going to keep it really lighthearted and G-rated, so no gory details. But I think it's going to be great.
It'll be fun.
I think it's going to be great.
It'll be fun.
Do you want to roll a dice first?
I would love to. Oh, yeah.
The tea that we're having. Yes, you specifically asked for a minty tea.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful spring day. And so we're having Moonlite Mint by Keats and Co. I had this one back a little while ago with one of my other guests, David.
Oh, okay.
He hasn't had very many tea, and so mint is great. A lot of people usually like mint.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is very lovely. It's very.
I'm waiting for it to cool down before I try it, but I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's really good. And Keats and Co is a really fun company. I've kind of talked about them before, but they basically donate all of their funds to charity to support eliminating tuberculosis in third world countries.
I love that.
And helping with maternity fatality rates, which is so wild. I absolutely love them, and they make really good tea.
Mm-hmm.
So support them, guys. Get yourself some Moonlite Mint, and let's talk about scrapes and bumps and injuries. You want to roll your dice first?
I would love to roll my dice
reach
first.
It?
I can reach it. Everything has to be with my left hand now, but I can reach it. A 12!
12! We start off right in the middle. Ooh, this is great. Let's talk about head injuries.
Okay. I have had one of those.
Awesome. Good. So what caused your head injury? How did it happen? How's your brain doing now?
Yeah.
A little foggy up there?
Oh, that's really good, by the way.
I know.
It's nice and it's cooled down enough I can drink it. That's really good.
I know.
I love I was gonna do a floral choice or like a fruity one because I love the fruity ones,
but
but
very summery kind of.
But I was like, I'm kind of in the mood for a minty theme today.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's a very good tea.
This is a tea that you could easily pair with others, right? Mint, I feel like you can easily pair with others. Now we might as well just go on to a tangent immediately.
That's how we be.
Yeah, but this tea stands great on its own. You could do it as an iced tea. I actually thought about that because it's 70 whole degrees, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so hot. Maybe I should make an iced tea instead. But it's great. It's a very nice tea.
Yeah.
It's a very nice tea. So tell me, Erin.
Yes.
What happened to your noggin?
I got a concussion when I was in high school.
Awesome.
For listeners at home, I played basketball when I was in my middle school and in high school.
Yeah.
But this particular instance, it was during a JV game, so the junior varsity game. We were playing our rival. Of course we were.
Of course.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a rival game.
Rival game.
Stuff's gonna go down.
Yeah, and we were actually playing not the greatest, but doesn't.
Wait, like you were playing dirty or you were just struggling?
No, we're just struggling.
Okay,
Sorry.
I was like, what? I didn't know this.
I was generally a very clean player.
Okay.
I didn't like to start fights and everything.
No.
Almost did once, but
Oh
so
my
I was
gosh.
going down. That's a story for another time. But I was going down
Yeah.
the court. I think I had stolen the ball, and I was running down the court, and for like what's called a fast break, and so you basically get the ball and you just hightail it to the other end of the court to go score a point before the other team can get to you.
Yeah.
So that's what I was doing. And the defender was kind of right on my tail, and I thought that I could kind of outwit her by like stopping and faking her out so she would run past me. So that's what I did.
Like, put on your brakes.
Put on the brakes.
Classic.
Yeah. Fake her out.
Fake 'em
and
out.
Yeah, so I did that.
Classic move.
But I don't really know how she did this.
Well, I mean,
But-
it was also fast, probably.
And yeah, it happened also. Yeah, it happened so quickly, but I put on the brakes and I stopped and I went to fake, but then she like ran into me
Oh my gosh.
and she
Like
gave
from the front?
from the back.
Oh, from the back.
Yeah. But so she gave me a concussion because I just
Heads? Was it heads colliding?
head and eyeballs colliding.
Oh.
I don't know how or what or why, but but like this bony protrusion right here, I don't even know what this is
Right on your
called. Right on the
eyebrow?
eyebrow,
Yeah.
kind of.
Okay.
That's what part she hit me with.
From behind?
From behind. And it was like up in like my kind of like temporal lobe-ish region.
Were you like looking up?
Kind of, yeah. So like because the basket's up high,
Yeah,
so I was
you're
probably looking up.
She was coming from behind.
Because most of the time defenders kind of come at you from the side a little bit to
Yeah.
get a better angle to swat you and
was
stop you.
Probably coming.
Because I'd imagine
behind
she
and
jumped.
down.
Yeah, she
I
must
bet
have
it was,
jumped.
Was she had
I
to-
couldn't see. It was behind me.
No.
But yeah.
physics are just. I'm very confused.
I know, me too.
What
yeah.
happened?
And so the next thing I remember is I'm on the floor.
Yeah.
I don't think I blacked out, but like it just happened so fast that like you never know.
She says, "I don't think I blacked out, but the next thing I remember."
When things happen so quick, that's how I got this one too. I was like,
Sure.
I don't remember how I
So-
dislocated my shoulder, but it just
Guys,
happened.
Her arm is literally in a brace while we're recording
Yeah.
this.
So that's why this is the
injury
episode because I
Uh-huh.
dislocated my shoulder snowboarding, and maybe we'll talk about it and ended up.
Totally unrelated to the head injury.
Yeah, unrelated,
Yeah.
but I had surgery 3 weeks ago, so I'm in a brace right
Yeah.
now, and I'm in a brace for 3 more
Spoilers.
weeks. So yeah,
So
but
this girl comes down on top of your head.
mhm.
Now you're on the ground.
So we're on the ground.
Yeah. Was she?
and
did
it
she
was
also
like-
fall over?
Oh yeah,
Oh
like
my
like we both just
You both were
tumbled,
just like-
collapsed. Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
and I'm sure she probably had a concussion too.
Oh, this poor.
Because,
you
like-
guys, you're just children.
You know it.
Gosh.
It's junior year, we're fine. You know.
Yeah, rub some dirt in it.
Rub some dirt in it. And so, and that's literally what my parents said. I got
Oh
up.
my gosh.
I could always hear my parents from the sidelines yelling at me
Like,
anytime.
get up or something?
Yeah, and they were just like, "Walk it off. You're fine. Walk it off, Erin. You're good." And like I get up and I'm like, I can't see straight. Like I literally was like,
oh, no.
stuff
yeah,
was
your pupils were
blurry
probably...
and like I was like, I can't see.
Yeah.
And so then they obviously called a foul, but like I was like, I can't see the board right now. Like I was like,
No.
I can't do free throws.
Your pupils are probably
Yeah,
all
and my head was
dilated.
on fire too. It
Oh.
hurt so bad
Oh.
because this huge collision in my head. I was like, oh my gosh, like that just
That's
hurts.
so bad.
And so I walk over to the bench and like I sit down and I remember rubbing my head and I like
Oh.
felt it wet. And so I like take my hand off and I'm bleeding.
oh no!
I'm full on bleeding.
Oh no!
girl had a goose egg for an
Oh,
eye.
that poor kid.
Yeah, she didn't bleed, but she had a big gnarly black eye and a bruise. And I looked down, and in my left hand, it's like covered in blood. And I'm like, oh shoot, I'm bleeding.
Popped like a capillary or something.
Yeah. And so,
gosh, yeah, head injuries bleed.
Yeah. And the thing, though, they told me too, I didn't know at the time that I had a concussion because they said that sometimes they can take.
Know?
Yeah, they said that the physical trainer that was there, she was actually a student physical trainer from BYU. She wasn't our actual physical trainer, so she didn't quite know what to do.
That's sad.
They had me do like a concussion test kind of right on the spot. Like they were like, there's like a written one that you take. But then she's like, well, your symptoms sometimes can't manifest for up to like 30 minutes plus.
Yeah, it can be like a while.
It can be a while.
Concussions are complicated.
Yeah, and so like a couple things, like they were like vision problems. Do you have any sensitivity to light, to hearing, like everything?
While you're literally sitting there holding your bleeding head, just being like, what?
Yeah, legitimately. Legitimately.
How many fingers am I holding up? I don't know.
Yeah, legitimately.
Oh my god.
And yeah, that was that. She put some iodine on it because she didn't know what to do. Like she was like
here's a Band-Aid,
yeah, basically.
Oh no.
But then that was kind of at the end of our season, and that ruined the end of my season. I couldn't play because I was out with a grade 2 concussion or whatever they call it. Yeah. The varsity coach. We have fun stories about Jose, but he wanted me to play in the varsity game next, and he gave me the like a parallel to, or like a, what's the word, like he was like Michael Jordan, first of all, was a professional NBA player, getting paid to do what he did. I'm just a high school student.
You're just a kid.
Now with a concussion, but he's like, Michael Jordan played, like, he played with, like, he was super sick, and he had to go get IVs during halftime, but he went back out on the court, so you can go and you can play.
To inspire you?
Yeah, like, and I was like, no.
As the world is like tilting,
legitimately,
and you're like, I think I might die.
Yeah, legitimately. Yeah. I'm like, no, I'm not going out there.
Good for you.
And so our physical trainer, once she showed up, she had to like tell him. She's like, she can't play. Like she's out. She's done.
Good for her.
Good for her.
Good for her for identifying that, because that's not safe.
Yeah.
Oh my word.
Yeah.
You could have passed out.
Yeah, and then I had a lovely big old bump on my head for a couple weeks, and I was out, and luckily I didn't have to do like the protocol where you're like staying at home like in a dark room. Yeah. I was still definitely sensitive to light and sounds, and that's kind of what gave us the notion that I was done. That I was concussed. You truly had because I went to another game, and the buzzer going off just was awful. Sucked. It was awful, yeah. And so
if you've never had a sensitivity to that before, like when it suddenly is like so glaring, like
it just gives you like a migraine instantly. Yeah, that kind of a thing. Yep. But so yeah, it was a good like 3 or 4 weeks before I was able to go back. And that, again, that's how long we had left in the season, but it was really weird. I'd never had a head injury before.
You shouldn't. Seek them out.
I'd had many other injuries prior to that, which this is a good episode to talk about, because playing basketball, you tend to injure yourself and everything, but
I mean, you gotta live.
It was exactly. But it was just weird because like physical injuries, you can be like, you can play around with your arm or whatever and be like, well, it feels better. You can take like drugs for it.
You can test it out.
You can test it out, but for
and stuff. Yeah, for, like a head injury, there's not really a way to physically see
exactly.
Is this better?
Yeah, and
it's
so like
inside your head.
Yeah, so it's just as like, am I doing better? I don't know. And so like there's like tests that they do, like they test your physicality, so if you're able to do certain types of physical activity and not get lightheaded, not get dizzy, stuff like that, then you're considered cleared. And they also have you do like a computer, like a mind like a memory game type of stuff like that, and it also tests. So I passed those after a couple of weeks, but I still just like It took me an extra like 2 weeks after my 4 weeks just to kind of get back into the swing of things.
Feel like you could literally get your feet under you again.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So brains don't like to be bruised.
No, they don't. No. They're very sensitive.
They are.
But as of like now, I mean, it's never impacted my
That's good. That's really good.
anything after that. Yeah, I didn't lose any. I didn't have any issues with memory.
It
or
really
anything.
gives you a lot of empathy and a lot of concern for people that have like micro ongoing concussions, or have had multiple concussions, or like long-term effects from a concussion because of the like silentness of it. Like you're in a brace right now. Like, it's obvious, like, oh, you have a physical injury, you're in rehab, you're recovering, versus something that's literally, like, inside your skull, but affecting you still every single day.
And
like,
nobody knows.
And nobody knows unless you, like, have difficulty walking upstairs.
Yeah.
Or being able to remember your own address. Like, oof, or
I'm just glad.
Concussions are
rough. They're scary.
They're very scary.
They're scary.
Yeah. They are no joke.
I don't ever want to have one ever again.
We're okay.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It was bad enough that it.
Poor other girl too. Like,
I know it, and she just came up to me after the game too, and was like trying to shake my hand, but I was like, I'm giving her this bloody hand, and I was like, oh, sorry, probably not that one.
That's so awkward.
But I ended up running into her like a couple of months later for the ACT. We were both at the ACT place for like our ACT like retake. Yeah, it was a testing center on BYU campus. We were retaking it, and I ran into her, and she still had this big old bruise. I mean, and I was like, and this was like our end of our season was like in like kind of March, and it was like end of April or so, like kind of before the end of school. And I ran into her, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm the girl you gave a concussion to. How are you doing? And she just still had this big old bruise there, and I just was like, oh, you might have even had it worse than I did. I don't know. Like that is right there on the eye.
There by her eye. That had to have hurt.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yep.
Yeah, well, and there's nothing that either of you did, like, wrong. Like,
no.
You're just playing a game.
Just playing a game.
That's what happens.
Yep.
Dang.
That's the risk you take when you play sports and...
Or just do
or
stuff.
Or just go snowboarding.
Yeah. Well, you got safety equipment for a reason, but yeah. You can definitely get a concussion snowboarding, for sure. Wow. That's a good first question.
It is. That was a really good first question. I'm glad I had an answer to that.
Yes. Well, I feel like you get to a point in life where if you... hopefully not many of us have really bad head injuries, but most of us have bonked our head.
Sure.
You know, a couple of times, maybe at least once or twice.
13.
Okay. Ooh. This is a good one. Oftentimes, and this is good because you've got a recent experience.
Okay.
Injuries or illnesses come with prescriptions.
Oh, yeah.
Both short-term and sometimes long-term. What has been your experiences with things like antibiotics or pain meds helping in your recovery? How do you deal with some of the side effects?
That's a really good question, actually. So, I've had several surgeries in my life. This one was one of them.
Yeah.
But
you have some gnarly scars.
Yeah, they're not too bad. Like, I have a gnarlier scar on the other shoulder from the mole that was removed when I was a little girl.
Which is wild.
It's because like,
you've now had this like major shoulder surgery. And the scars are bitty.
There's just 3 little scars just because it was via scope.
It's a testament to like non-invasive surgical techniques.
Yeah.
Like, and now this, like, mole scar.
But, like, this one couldn't have been very invasive either. It was a mole removal, and it wasn't even...
And then the scar was just, like...
It just decided to just spread as I grew and just, like, stretch. Yeah,
it's very weird.
So I got this, like,
it
scar
makes it look like you got bit by a shark or something.
Or something. You're, like, mauled by, like, a bear.
Legitimately.
I fooled a few friends that way by telling them, making up stories that way, which is really fun. But then I feel bad afterwards because I can't lie.
You gotta stick to your guns.
I know it.
Yeah.
I just gotta get better at that. But surgery-wise, I was actually thinking about this before I came over, knowing that this was going to be our topic. So I had that one when I was a little girl. I don't really obviously remember that one, other than I woke up and I was given a popsicle.
Aww, what? Do you remember like the flavor?
I thought it was orange. My mom said it was grape. I think it was orange because I remember waking up.
If you remember
Exactly.
getting an orange popsicle, then
that's what it was. I agree.
Yeah.
I'm also gonna ask you to get me more tea real quick
Oh
too
my
while I'm
gosh,
sharing this story.
You can't pour it while you're
I
in a
mean,
brace?
I don't want to break your lovely teapot or my other arm trying to do this.
It probably,
So,
your luck.
Yeah, so I really need to keep this one
get
stable right now.
That's very true.
The other surgery I had when I was 8, I've had a tonsillectomy, so I had my tonsils removed.
That's right.
Yeah, I was a carrier for strep, and so
you were the problem. It was.
I was the problem child. Yep, I was a carrier, and so
I've always wondered if I actually had strep more than
I feel like you would.
I realized. I only went in and got diagnosed one time.
I could know for sure every time I got strep throat that it was strep throat. Every time.
It feels a certain way.
Well, you get fevers. Like, you can get a fever. It's just the throat swelling. It's so incredibly sore.
Yeah.
Which, like, looking back on, I'm like, I've always had, like, a really, really high tolerance for pain. Mm-hmm. But, like, I wonder if it's because I've gone through much crap in my life.
Oh,
but yeah.
You poor baby.
Yeah, so I had a
little baby Erin.
Yeah, I had a tonsillectomy. That was when I was 8. And then I had a gallbladder surgery when I was 19.
Man, you really have had so many surgeries.
I've had my wisdom teeth removed.
Yeah, so have I.
So all of those, except for the shoulder surgery, because I don't remember, or like the mole removal on the shoulder.
That was probably just like with a local and maybe some laughing gas or something.
It probably was, yeah. But they thought it was cancer, so they had to go a little bit. Their margins were a little bit wider. But then it came back as benign, and so
that's good.
Yeah.
You were 8?
No, I was 3.
You were 3.
I have pictures of the mole. It was like a good dollar sized.
Whoa.
Yeah, and it had it was definitely.
That's not what I was picturing at all.
No, it was big.
Whoa.
Well, I'll have to show you a photo when we're done. But yeah. So.
Had you had strep and then? Like I would think you would have had to have gotten over your strep before.
Oh my
you
goodness,
took the
yes.
tonsils out, right?
Yeah, but I got strep throat at least once every 3 months as a kid.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I could every time.
You were a carrier.
I
Oh
was, and I knew every single time I got strep throat,
like
it was
just
same
like
symptoms.
clockwork.
Super lethargic, fever, aches, chills, kind of the whole thing, and then just the throat that was just so incredibly raw. But yeah, so I was healthy when they did the surgery.
I feel like you'd have had to have been to like minimize how angry it would have all been.
Yeah, but I don't even know how to describe the pain because like people are just like, oh, it's just like a really bad sore throat, but it is, but it's not.
It's not. It's different.
Because like it's like deep down, but then you can feel it in both spots because your tonsils sit on either side. Yeah.
It makes sense.
And so like it was almost like also like different types of sharp pain too. And you're
because they've had to like do surgery then.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. And and so yeah, it didn't sit well with those ones. And so I think usually what I've ended up doing is just taking like ibuprofen and Tylenol.
Yeah.
And so then for the gallbladder surgery, kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
I can handle most drugs just fine, whatever they prescribed. Don't remember the names of them. Made me vomit, and that one was horrible too because it's an abdominal surgery. Granted, it was laparoscopic, and so the scars were just it was a little bit better. But yeah,
still, you had a hole in your tummy.
Yeah, and this is even when they had prescribed like Zofran for me too to take with it,
the anti-nausea stuff
with it, and it just didn't help or anything. Yeah,
your body's just like, you know what? I hate drugs.
Yeah, legitimately. Yeah, and so for this surgery that I had just a couple weeks ago, that was one thing that I'd noted. They'd asked me, do you have any sensitivity to any drugs, any medications, allergies, things like that?
Just like all of the above.
And I told them, I was like, you had to fill out a form, and I talked to the anesthesiologist, I talked to the doctor, everybody. I was like, I have a sensitivity to pain meds specifically, and I listed out the ones that I thought I'd been on, and I was like they make me vomit, and I don't want to. No one wants to be nauseous or vomit after surgery.
No.
But then the surgeon, I mean, like he was like, there's other things we can try, but he's like, I really just don't want you to be in pain after surgery.
No.
And so he's like, what I want you to do, he's like, instead of taking the Zofran with your drug, take it 20 minutes beforehand.
Yeah, like pre-med.
Which I'd never been told that before. Never had I thought that before, because like...
It makes sense, though.
It does make sense. And now that I've been working, you know, where we are for like a long time, like I'm like that makes sense.
You're like,
I get it.
Yep.
I get it. And
what
I'm like,
do we do? Yep.
Yeah, like I totally understand that, and it makes a lot of sense. And yeah, so luckily, this surgery was definitely not as bad as what I was intending.
Yeah.
They did a local block. I say local, but like my entire shoulder and arm was numb.
Yeah, they numbed up like your whole shoulder.
Whole shoulder, whole arm, hands, fingers, everything was numb. And so that lasted for about 2 days. I got feeling back in my finger after the first day, and then I still had no feeling left in my shoulder for 2 days, which was really nice. I only needed to take the prescription drug for about a day and a half.
Just awesome.
Which was great. Really I legitimately was just more concerned that I was going to be in pain, so I stayed on top of it.
Yeah. And that's really like...
And that's what you're supposed to do, yeah.
You take it before your ouchie, because like...
You don't want to get behind.
If you become painful, it's never going to like fully cover
Exactly.
it, right?
It's really hard to try to catch back up and to stay on top of the
pain. It's just like with nausea.
Exactly.
Right? Like you're already nauseated, it's just really hard to try to catch back up. But like if you like what your doctor said was like, okay, if you already know these medications are going to make you feel terrible, like pre-medicate.
Right.
That was really helpful. I'm so glad he said that.
I know, me too. Really, really nice guy. Really love the work that he did. My sister has worked with him before. She works in that office facility, and so
awesome.
She really liked him. Anyways, didn't have an issue. Pain-wise was great too. And I've just did the strong ones for about a day and a half, and then I just did ibuprofen and Tylenol, kind of switching off.
Perfect, yeah.
And I'm just on Tylenol just as needed. Like I really don't take it very often.
Yeah.
And so I was expecting this huge, like everybody was like, oh, shoulder surgery is the worst. You're going to be in so much pain. You're going to blah, blah, blah. And seriously, I was like, where?
Like, everybody's different.
Right.
Like everybody's different. And I think part of, you set yourself up for success because you were doing everything you could.
Yeah.
Going into surgery, taking care of your shoulder, right? And also you didn't wait super long. I feel like some people with shoulder injuries, they have, for different reasons, can't go into surgery right away.
Yeah, I mean, and this was kind of my case too, because I was scheduled about a month out, which makes sense for orthopedic surgery.
But like, you know,
but
some
people will put it off
for one reason or another, whether it's like they can't or they don't want to or whatever, insurance, like whatever circumstances. Like, the longer you wait with an injury, the more difficult it's going to make your recovery because scar tissue
builds,
it
exactly.
Crappy,
yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And they have to really, like, break that stuff down.
Yeah.
So, I think, like, a lot of the circumstances helped in your favor, and then, like, you also did a lot of work to help yourself out.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, I just really wanted to just stay on top of things. And just that simple recommendation of just try taking your anti-nausea pill
Pre-med.
20 minutes before you take it with a little bit of food, which I did. I always had a snack. I made sure that I would eat before I took it. I made sure, like, I woke up at 3 in the morning and then again at like 5 or whatever. Exactly. I was really, really on top of things, and recovery's been great. And I also think part of the thing too is there were a couple things wrong, but one of the tears didn't end up being as bad as they thought, so they actually left that one.
Okay.
And he said that one will heal just fine on its own.
There you go.
And so just really the labrum tear was the worst one.
Yeah.
And he just had to suture that all the way around, but
like a little zipper.
Little zipper, exactly. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that this went so much better. You were very worried about it, which is legitimate. Like, you have had such a rough time with how many surgeries you've had to have.
Yeah. Yeah, and you always just hear like horror stories of things that happen, and I'm not really like one that's super worried, but I think I was mostly concerned about the pain afterwards
The
because of
recovery is,
because
I
of
feel
the
like, way
description
harder
that
than
people were
actually.
giving me. Like
Yeah.
I had talked to so many clients that were like, I've had surgery,
Oh my
I've had this
gosh,
surgery
yeah.
before,
Yeah.
I've had a rotator cuff tear, I've had blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Granted, this wasn't a rotator cuff, so I don't know if
No.
that one's more painful.
Yeah.
And it could be.
Well, like everybody's body's different, and
Yeah,
also like as helpful as like the internet can be with like getting other people's perspective and stuff on things, and going into something like this with an open mind, it can also give you a really grim picture of
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
you know, like, and so for some things, especially if you're prone to like taking like all the negative perspective and just like being like, oh my gosh,
Yeah,
like,
just getting really bad anxiety over things.
Overwhelming. Yeah, it
Mhm.
can be really overwhelming because the internet is full of horror stories of like anything, right?
Of anything.
Of like a gallbladder surgery, or like concussions, or like you getting lost with your car in the middle of Montana. So like of anything, and I think it's helpful to get other people's experiences so that you can have that full spectrum and know what it's like to be able to plan. Yeah. But we always have to remember, like, everybody's body's
so different.
And everybody's experience is going to be so different.
Right,
and so we don't want to, like, doom and gloom everything all the time. Yeah. Constantly. Like, be prepared. And I think you did a good job with being prepared.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah. It was good. Yeah. It was really good. Well, I think we have time for maybe just like one more question.
Sure, go for it.
Let's see what we get.
Oh, we got a 12.
12. Let's try.
Your dice just love to roll the
highs and lows. Yeah, my poor little door broke.
I know it. I'm like
That's why I was able to get this thing, because they were like, oh, the door's broken. Oh my gosh. Stop it. 8.
There we go.
Alrighty. Question number 8, my lord. Did you get your wisdom teeth out? What was your experience like? We could probably both tell that. Mine's pretty boring. So
were you awake, or were you
I was
under
awake.
Anesthesia? Okay.
Were you under anesthesia?
I was under anesthesia. I went to an oral surgeon.
I did not.
Yeah.
And like, okay, it means that I have a like more interesting story, I guess, because I was awake the entire time.
Yes.
So, first my parents tried to get each of us kids, when we were getting around that age when your wisdom teeth are coming in, my parents tried to get us signed up for one of those studies so that we could get it done for free.
For free. My sister-in-law did that.
I don't remember what specifically disqualified me, but I think it was that my wisdom teeth were not, like, impacted enough or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Like, it wasn't going to be painful enough, because it was a pain study.
Right.
Like, they were, at the time, the one we were trying to sign up for, they were studying a pain medication. And there was going to be, like, you know, obviously it was blinded, but like you were either going to get a sugar pill after, or you were going to get the actual pain med after, and to see if it was effective.
Right.
That's what I remember. And I don't quite remember everything about but you know, we had to go in and like sit down and talk with the doctors and the surgeons and fill out the paperwork, and I had to get a blood test, which I had almost no experience having those before, and it was terrifying because I'm not good with needles, and I was just a little baby, and I was so scared. And I had to go through this whole experience just to find out that I couldn't participate in the study because my wisdom teeth were normal. And they weren't like,
how dare they?
I know, and they were like, well, they're not gonna be painful enough.
you're not bad enough to qualify for this surgery.
They weren't gonna be like painful
or this study
enough for them to be like, yeah, you're definitely gonna really need pain meds.
But then at the same time, the poor people that don't get the pain med, I'm like, that's gotta suck.
The whole time I was like, well, thank goodness, because I was like, well, what if I got the sugar pill and I was
you're super painful,
and I'm waking up from just having my wisdom teeth taken out, and I was literally given a sugar cube, and like, I'm a believer in science. The placebo effect is real, but I'm also too smart for my own good, and especially knowing that, I would be one of those people who would convince myself out of the placebo effect.
And I feel like like those kind of studies need to be done almost like blindly to everybody, like, you know what I mean? Like,
and they usually are.
Yeah.
They usually are, especially in the moment, but like, I would be one of those people, you couldn't tell me that I was in a study.
Mm-hmm.
Like, which is not allowed. That's not, like, the person participating in this study, and that's part of why some studies don't quite work.
Mm-hmm.
Because your participants need to know and need to give their consent.
Yeah.
But, like, that's why I wouldn't be a good candidate to study, because if I know I'm in a study, then I'm like, I know this is for a study. You can't trick me.
Yeah.
But some studies, you really need your participant to be blinded doubly so they don't know. And but for ethical reasons, 99.9% of the time, your participants need to give you consent. That's really important.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was really glad that I didn't participate in that study.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to be given a little sugar pill and then just be in pain in a room, just waiting for it to kick in. And speaking of like catching up with your pain and it not kicking in, and then being like, well, here's some Tylenol instead.
Yep.
Like, yeah. So, when that didn't work out, we had my dentist, our family dentist, look at the x-rays, or I think take our own, or I don't fully remember the whole situation, but he was like, oh yeah, I can totally get those things out, no problem. And so, yeah, I have a lot of stress and anxiety associated with the dentist, because when I was really little, I had to have braces. Mm-hmm. I never have had crooked teeth, but when I was like a little kid, I had a bit of an underbite.
Yeah.
And we did braces when I was little to like correct the underbite, and then I had to have them again when I had my second growth spurt, because our dentist wasn't that great, and we had to go to a new dentist because of the not great dentist. And the underbite came back because I didn't have a retainer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
like, gotta have those.
It was a whole kerfuffle.
Yeah.
But like my entire childhood, it was just full of these memories of going to the dentist like a ton. Mm-hmm. And having these really painful braces, just like pulling on my lower jaw, like a ton. And then finally being free, only to like go back and have to do it again. So anyway, I thought those days were behind me, right?
Yeah.
So just to find out, come senior year of high school, psych, nope.
You gotta go back.
You get to go back, and you're gonna be awake the whole time.
I mean, I went to the dentist a lot too as a kid for extractions. So I kind of had a similar experience.
Yeah. And they're like, I could share other stories.
Sure,
like,
sure.
Oh man, I don't worry, guys. Like, I have a really great dentist now. They take really good care of me. They know that I'm very anxious to go to the dentist.
I know. It's just another thing for me.
But I work really hard to take care of my teeth because I have this deep, burning anxiety that something will go wrong, and the dentist will get mad at me. So anyway, I was awake the whole time. I was on laughing gas, and I was like numb-ish, but you're like only so numb. Mm-hmm. Like, you know everything that's going on in your mouth.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever had the pleasure of being on laughing gas.
I have.
Okay.
For wisdom teeth too, but different reasons, but yes.
Okay. So me on laughing gas, like, I just ceased to care.
Okay.
Right? Like, all of all of my cognitive facilities were still there. I just didn't care anymore.
Okay.
Right? So, like, right now, thinking about, like, going to the dentist, I start to get, like, anxious, worried, like, oh my gosh, what if?
Right.
Right? On laughing gas, logic brain is still there, but there's no anxiety. It's really weird. And I always have felt like, since I've had that experience, laughing gas is an inaccurate name, at least for me, because I did not laugh not once.
Yeah, same with me.
I felt like everyone else was very dumb, and very, very frustrating, because, like, I was very coherent. When they took their hands out of my mouth, I could speak in full sentences. I could tell them anything they wanted to. Like, I was fine. I was just like this, just like no emotion. I was like the Dementors sucked all the emotion out of me. That part was weird.
That is really interesting.
Yeah, that part was weird. Like, you could have tied a tourniquet around my arm and chopped it off, and I would have been like, okay.
Huh.
Yeah, like, it was very much the, huh. Like, that's me on laughing gas. I'm just like, oh, okay. Like, everything was just no emotion, just raw, like, logic. And yeah, it was really bizarre. I didn't care anymore. It was weird.
I think I out-anxietied the laughing gas.
Did you?
When I was...
Oh, no.
Because I went to an oral surgeon, or my parents took all of us kids to an oral surgeon to have it done.
Yeah.
And I, too, was in a similar boat with the IV situation, because they had to place an IV catheter.
Oh, you got a catheter.
Yeah, to administer the drugs. And I'd only had that done once, when I broke my arm in 8th grade, had to be anesthetized for, for that, too.
Yeah.
But literally, they put laughing gas on, and I just was like, it just made me feel weird and cold and kind of dizzy.
It does make, like, there was an initial, like, right when I first started breathing it in, and this was the same when I first started to, like, go under anesthesia when I broke my foot, there's, like, an initial, like, tumbling sensation, and then it levels out.
Oh, not for me.
Oh.
No, I was so, because they had the heart rate, or they had
heart rate, like,
the EKG hooked up to me, and it was like, beep, 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 beep.
It just put
me on laughing gas, no changes. Because I was so anxious about the IV catheter.
And see, that's a thing.
The minute they put it in, beep, 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 and I was fine.
Yeah.
Literally, they did laughing gas just for the catheter for me.
Aww,
but it didn't. I feel like it didn't do anything, because I still was just like.
Yeah, because you were
so worked up.
Yeah.
But now I don't care about getting poked. Now I have it done so much that I just don't care.
Yeah, you're desensitized to it.
Yep.
Yeah. No, and that's like you can absolutely out fight or flight stuff for sure. Like, adrenaline it decides what it wants to do. Especially once you just hand it the reins and you're like, okay, here we go. Yeah. Like, but yeah, for me, like, if I know, like, now, because I do have a big fear of, like, having my blood drawn, having to have a catheter placed, any pokes come in my direction, I know that if I let it go, it'll just go, and I will full pass out.
Yeah.
So, but I know that, and so if I know it's coming, then I can, like, bring it down.
Just bring it down, sure.
Yeah, you do breathing exercises.
Yeah. You can grounding techniques.
Yeah, grounding techniques. You can out-logic it ahead of, it's just like getting ahead of your pain.
Yeah.
It's getting ahead of the anxiety. Like, yeah. It's still, I don't like it.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? But, like, and communicating to your medical team about it helps so
helps
much.
Significantly, yes. Please communicate with all of your medical team.
Yeah.
Just, they need to
be
be aware.
Same thing with my current dentist, right? They know that I don't like the dentist. Which makes me feel so bad. It makes me feel so bad. But I tell them, like, and I'm so grateful to them because they're so patient with me, but that I do this.
I'm sure they get that a lot.
I do a lot of grounding stuff going in, and I've never once had a bad experience with them. Mm-hmm. It's not their fault.
It's just PTSD from when you were little.
When I was little.
Yeah.
All the stuff that happened in my mouth was scary to me.
100%.
But it's okay. I'm
you're
grateful
human.
that I don't have an underbite. I'm grateful. I really am. But man, I was a little kid. I was scared.
I mean, yeah.
How do you communicate that to a child? You just can't.
You don't.
I don't think you can.
You can't. No.
So that's okay. You know, it happens. But yeah, so I was awake for my wisdom teeth, and I was very annoyed with how illogical everybody else seemed. I just remember, I remember literally everything that they did, and they were very frustrated. So my lower left tooth was really difficult for them to get out. Uh-huh. They spent the longest time with my lower left tooth. They had to re-block me.
Oh, wow.
Because it was wearing off, and I could feel it, and they didn't believe me, and that was one thing that was very frustrating to me. I had to literally grab their hands and be like, stop.
I'm so glad I was not awake.
The only reason I didn't get really pissed was because of the laughing gas. I was so calm, you guys. I was so freaking calm. It was the wildest experience. But yeah, I had to literally stop them and be like, I'm not numb anymore.
Oh, man.
But yeah, so that one took the longest to get out, and, yeah, and then, coming off the laughing gas, they switched it to just oxygen, so you can just, breathe it off, right? But you've still, I've been on laughing gas, I don't even know how long it was, so I have no watch, no clock, no nothing, I've literally just been sitting there for hours, who knows, with my mouth open, so dry.
On your jaw, too.
Well, I'm just all numb, but, yeah.
I know, but still.
Yeah. And they were so annoyed with me for not just, getting up and going right away, and I'm still just, exhausted.
Yeah.
I wanted to fall asleep so bad. Everybody was just stay up super late the night before so that when the laughing gas hits, you'll just fall asleep. That was my number one goal, and they kept waking me up to talk to me.
Oh, rude.
Yeah, and I was just guys, you don't need me conscious right now. I just want to fall asleep.
What is it with dentists when they're working in your mouth? So, how's your day been?
I don't know.
That's a dentist stereotype, but it's true.
It's so true. But, legitimately, I don't know how. I'm a small person, okay? Yeah. I'm a small person. Yeah. I have a small mouth. And I don't know how, but somehow this dentist had both his hands.
Oh, my God.
And the nurse, his assistant, had both their hands in my mouth all at the same time with all their instruments, and they were trying to talk to me at the same time, and I had this thing over my nose to breathe the laughing gas, and they're trying to carry on a conversation with me, and I'm just and you guys think I'm the high one? I was so, if I hadn't been on laughing gas, I would have just taken everything out my mouth and been y'all need to go home. There's probably a leak. There's probably a leak somewhere. I'm not getting the gas anymore. Y'all are hot.
It's unplugged.
It is unplugged. Because, what the heck? Yeah. Yeah, so, when they had turned everything off and they were trying to, get me to, wake up, I was awake. Mm-hmm. I was awake, and I was starting to get annoyed because the laughing gas was wearing off, and so I was just sitting up, looking at them, just I am awake.
Yeah, what more do you want from me?
I am awake. What else do you want me to do? Mm-hmm. But my mouth is full of cotton.
Right.
And all swollen and you got the cheeks
the big chummy chipmunk cheeks.
Yeah, and so it's how am I supposed to communicate with you?
Right.
I was waiting for my parents to come and walk me back, but they're just get up, go, wake up, say something. And I'm just I literally did the shrug emoji at them because I could not speak.
Oh my gosh.
And I was just like, these people, like, why are you trying to throw me out on the street? I've been sitting here for I don't know how many hours. My mouth is parched dry. I have an entire pillow cushion in my mouth. Like, I was like, I think I've not been on laughing gas this entire time. It's just been the rest of the room. Like, oh man. So that was my experience on laughing gas.
Oh, I'm glad I was anesthetized and asleep.
Yeah, like, everybody was trying to talk to me the entire time, like, just, and maybe I'm remembering it differently, right? You know who you are, okay? If you want to get on here and be a guest and explain to me what your logic was, please do. Please do, because I don't know. Because I just don't know.
Gosh, my mom walked home after she had her wisdom teeth out.
Really?
Yeah, because it was just at their local dentist, and they numbed her up and like, hey, you're good to go. And it was just like, kind of down the road. It was a small town in Idaho, but she's like, yeah, I walked home after I had my wisdom teeth out and just did chores when I got home. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, I would have told them what for if my mouth wasn't full of cotton. But like, yeah, it was ridiculous. They were trying to just like rush me out the door like they had stolen a kidney or something. Like, it's just like, okay, guys, like, calm down. I'm exhausted. Like, been crawling down my throat for hours.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah, no. I wish I could have been out. No, knowing how I respond to anesthesia now, I wish I could have been out.
Yeah.
So I wake up again. Like, I was very like cognizant on laughing gas. I wake up like immediately out of anesthesia. So I was nervous going under when I broke my foot because I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna be. What's it gonna be like? And then it was really chill. So,
That's great. It's great. I love anesthesia.
Like,
all right, we're gonna give you your anesthesia. Okay. And just out. They didn't even warn me.
Really?
They gave me Versed, which is like an anti-anxiety type of medication, which made me feel real good.
I'm sure.
But I wasn't like, I know the process of surgery. I'm familiar with it. I had it done before, but just so chill. I just was chatting with them and everything. Yeah. And I just remember like looking up as I'm on the operating. Yeah, and just like I'm like, oh, okay, great. And then I just like.
And then you're waking up.
And then you're waking up, yeah. Yeah. I love that feeling though, for some reason.
That's
just
weird.
Like of being just dead asleep, no dreams. Freaking surgery is so weird because you don't have dreams.
Well, because you're not actually asleep.
I know it, but that's like, it just still weirds me out. But I just think it's so fascinating that you're just like you're just like gone. Yeah. And then you wake up and you're just like, oh.
It's just like a long blink.
Yeah, legitimately. Yeah. It's like, oh, you were asleep or you were under anesthesia for an hour and a half. Really? I think that's what I said to my sister. Really? I was like, how long was the surgery? Because I'm pretty coherent after surgery, too. Yeah. And I was like, how long? She said, oh, it was about an hour and a half. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah, you have a loss of time and, yeah, everything is just gone. Yep. So it was, yeah. That's funny. Yeah, no, it doesn't feel like sleeping. It just feels like you literally have a long blink. You're just like, oh, that happened. Yeah.
Which is just bizarre to me.
Yeah, it's not normal.
No, I know. It's just so fascinating.
It is. It's very interesting. It's a weird thing that we do. But thank goodness, then we can fix shoulders and broken bones and
all sorts of things.
Grody tonsils
and gallbladders.
Gallbladders that are being dumb. And yeah, it's cool. Medicine's cool. Science is cool. Yeah. Well, we're glad that your shoulder's on the mend. And
definitely.
Don't do it again.
Nope, tuck and roll, baby.
Tuck and roll, baby. No more starfishing.
No more starfishing. Yep.
Good. You learned your lesson.
I did learn my lesson.
Well, this is all we have time for today, but we will talk at you later. Thank you for listening to Some Good Tea. This podcast is possible because of amazing listeners like you. So if you're enjoying what you're listening to, be sure to like and follow. And you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. Just like I said in the intro, I am also going to be dropping in the next couple of weeks here a website for our whole podcast. It's the official website, and there you're going to be able to get an early sneak peek of the episodes before they drop. You'll be able to access the transcripts of the episodes after they drop, and you'll be able to connect with some of my featured artists and author guests more easily. So if you're interested in being able to commission things or read their books, all of that type of stuff, you'll be able to do that a little bit more easily through my website. I'm also going to be featuring the tea that we drink on there. So if you're wanting to learn how to steep tea, how to drink tea, or if you just want to be able to drink along with us when we drop our episodes, you'll be able to follow us a little bit more easily through that website. This podcast has been a lot of fun, and it's been really amazing sharing this wonderful hobby with you guys. I really like being able to brighten your day and share some good tea. Just being able to share this good message and bring something brighter into each of your lives is very satisfying and very rewarding to me. And it's fun getting to drink tea with my friends and have silly conversations. So if this is something that has helped you or brightened your day, go ahead and share it with your friends and your family, because I am growing and this is growing and expanding because of people like you. So keep it up. We really appreciate it, and you're making a difference. This is all I have time to say today, but I will talk at you later.